Revenge films.
I live with my husband, and we lived very close by with my mother-in-law. But she has repeatedly been asking us to move in with her, so I was getting really stressed out. The reason why she wants to live with us is probably because of financial problems, although she never made it clear. We didn't have children, so we were financially stable. But I never wanted to live with my mother-in-law who complained to me all the time, so I always ignored her requests. One day in an afternoon, my mother-in-law called me again. I knew what she was going to say, and she also told me to bring my husband with me. So it was clear that she wanted to talk about us moving in with her by having my husband, who was very accepting of her, by her side. So I accepted all that and decided to go visit her house. As soon as we got inside, she was already in a mood to scold us.
"Sit down right here. I'll have you give me an answer today."
That's what she said. First of all, I've already told her no so many times in the past. As always, she started to give a speech about how a wife should behave and what marriage was.
"Tell me why you don't want to live with us."
She asked me the reason, so I replied. Then, can you tell me the reason why you hate me so much first? I asked her a question too.
"Oh, I never disliked you."
Huh? But you keep on complaining to me. You complain about the way I do laundry, the way I cook, the way I behave?
"It was Miss Tanaka, our neighbor, who complained about the laundry. It's usually the others who comment about your behaviors too."
Then I'll go tell Miss Tanaka not to spy on us and our laundry whenever they have the chance to.
"Hey, you'll cause problems if you tell her that. That's why people tell you that you're rude."
I think it's more rude to complain about the way another family does their laundry.
You don't want to live with us, you never respect your parents, and even have a rude attitude towards the elders. I've had enough. Everyone tells me that it must be so hard to have a daughter-in-law like you."
Huh? Everyone? Who do you mean by that? Does it include Miss Yamazaki? Mrs. Hamazaki and Mrs. Uchida too? I thought Miss Higuchi and Miss Arioga also didn't live with their parents. Not everyone lives with their parents, right?
"People are people, family is family, and you are you. Why are you saying something that a child would say?"
You don't usually say that, Mother. You usually complain about how they do this and they do that.
You're really rude. You better fix that part of your personality. Oh, you make me so mad.
Oh, so you do hate me?
No. Miss Hamazaki sarcastically told me that you were quite a talker. I thought my face would be on fire.
And it was time for her to go crazy. When she calmed down a bit after spitting out everything she wanted to say to me, she asked again.
"How about you? How about we tell each other everything we want to say and feel refreshed?"
That was her idea.
Yes, I've been waiting for this moment for 2 years.
First of all, I dislike how you think you're allowed to do anything to me. No normal person would cut off the flower that someone's taking care of without asking and bring it home. And I dislike how shameless you are. You're so annoying, nagging me to buy you everything, from accessories, dehumidifiers to makeup. Can't you buy them on your own? Please, just return it to me. I dislike how you don't value our privacy, too. It's not right to visit someone's house and open their shelves without their permission. I want you to understand that your son is part of a different household. And I dislike how you tell me that I'm being lazy while my husband is working hard. Although I only work part-time, I have a job too. And I think you usually spend your time taking a nap. You also tell us that it's the responsibility of the first son to live with you, but you never lived with your mother-in-law. If I remember correctly, your husband is their first son. Also, I dislike how you pretend like others told you so when it's actually what you thought, what you're mad about, and what you want to be sarcastic about. You could just tell them to me as your opinion, but you don't. So it makes me irritated to listen to you. I just can't take it. They didn't expect me to have it prepared so well, and they definitely didn't think I would be so direct. So they all went silent.
"Hey, you're going overboard."
That's what my husband told me, but I replied, "It's because you don't do anything, no matter what I tell you. Then the only thing I can do is be direct myself. I thought she was your real mother. If my parents did something like this to you, I would never forgive them. And I would fight back for you, but you never did that for me. Am I that unimportant to you?" My husband looked downhearted.
Sorry.
He said. My mother-in-law was bright red and trembling. "So I'd like to reject your request for moving in with us." I stood up, bowed, and went home. A few days later, my father-in-law visited to apologize. He said he didn't know all the annoying things his wife has been doing to me. She just told him that they would be able to move in with his son and his wife very soon. After I went home that day, my father-in-law asked his wife if everything I said was true. And at first, she was silent, but when he said,
Can you be clear?
she told him the truth. When he asked her to get everything that was gifted from me, she got a whole bunch of stuff. And he said he was surprised with the amount. And
What you're doing is basically the same as a robber. As Misha said, you're always being lazy at home. Who would want to live with a person like you who even steals from her?
she was scolded by him for a good amount of time. My father-in-law, who visited our house, brought me everything that his wife took away from me in a big bag.
I'm very sorry. I'll make sure I'll never make my wife go near you or to pressure you about moving in together.
He apologized sincerely, so I decided to forgive her for his sake. My mother-in-law was a housewife, but because she might come to bully me again if she stayed at home all the time, he forcefully made her start a part-time job at a convenience store managed by one of his friends. She refused, but my father-in-law threatened that they would get a divorce if she refused to work. So it looks like she had no other choice but to do so. In my husband's case, when I clearly told him that my love for him was disappearing after he chose to be on his mother's side, not my side, although I was his wife, he went pale. "I'm so sorry, I'll never pretend like I had no idea again." That's what he told me, but in the end, it was my father-in-law, not him, who made things better. So I left our house and went back to my parents, saying that I needed some time to think about our future. My husband looked like he really regretted it and had his head in his arms. But that's the undeniable truth, that I was having a hard time. So I want him to learn from his mistakes. Of course, I'm going to have him do the housework, cook for him, and look after himself. I used to do all the housework when I almost had a full-time job, so I'll have him understand how hard it is to do everything on his own. While he does that, I'll spend a relaxed time at my parents' house after a long time. Shortly after that, I heard from my friends about how my mother-in-law was doing. But because she hadn't had a job for a long time, she's bad at memorizing and makes a lot of mistakes. So it seems like she was being scolded every single day. Employees that were 20 years younger than her would question her why she couldn't do what they taught, and they would point out not to make the same mistake over and over again. So she's been begging her husband that she wanted to quit the job, but his husband would reply that this would have never happened if she didn't bully her daughter-in-law. You think about unnecessary things because you have too much time, and he would not allow her to quit her job. And she'll have to face a divorce if she ever does quit her job, so it's basically hell in whichever case. She needs to work to survive, but if she goes to work, she'll be scolded by the other employees. So she's struggling mentally, and they say her expression is lifeless. My friend also works at a convenience store, but she told me that being an employee there was a lot of work, and that there were so many things to memorize. So when I told her about my mother-in-law, she sarcastically said she was sorry for her. I plan to trust my father-in-law for looking after his wife, and I'll also have my husband learn from his actions too. For a while, I'll take a long, relaxed break after going through so much by myself.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.